Hey, what's up, everybody? Today is Thursday, August the 29th, 2024. And I wanted to come on here and share with you my journey. Several of you have said thank you, that you have really been blessed. And I never really intended to try to bless anybody, if I can be honest with you. Everything that I've shot, everything that I've said, everything that you've seen, everything that I've shared since the transition of my wife 4 days ago was just to really allow people to see what love looks like more than anything. And I'm talking about loving your wife or your spouse. If you're a husband, you have a wife, or you're a wife and you got a husband. I want to say a couple of things to you in an attempt to just maybe encourage you. My wife and I were together for 39 years. We dated for 2 years and we were married for 37 years. And people would often tell us that you don't see that often. That's very rare. And it was not 39 years of ease or 37 years of a marriage of, where everything flowed smoothly, especially in the early years. We both were young and went through our changes and growth and development and evolutions. But I'm grateful and thankful that no matter what we went through, we always found a way to love each other. We always found a way to forgive each other. We always found a way to make space for each other to grow and evolve and mature. And I want to say this to everybody that is married. If husbands, I'm talking to you. If you got a wife, a woman, and women, I'm talking to you. If you got a husband, a man, appreciate your husband and appreciate your wife. Let the little things stay little things. Because just like that, they could be gone. Just like that. My wife was been battling cancer for 7 years. First 5 years, she was able to kind of hide it because it was started out as a skin rash. Skin cancer. And she had skin rashes that she was able to hide. So she wore long sleeves and sometimes high collars because she didn't want anybody to know what she was battling. Then shortly after they diagnosed her with the skin cancer, 4 or 5 years later, they discovered that she was actually fighting 2 cancers. Skin cancer and then cancer of the lymph nodes. Called it T-cell lymphoma. And she went through pure T hell. From radiation to several types of chemo treatment concoctions. And everything failed. In some cases, it seemed like it had exacerbated the cancer and made it worse and made it more aggressive and made it more angrier. But we never imagined that a routine visit on a Tuesday to a hospital that we've gone to over and over again over the last 2 years would result in her crossing over, transitioning into the presence of God. She was scheduled this past Tuesday to try one more chemo drug that had not been tried. And the goal and the aim was to keep her well enough where she could go to Houston, Texas, to what is supposed to be the top cancer hospital in the nation. We'd already booked our flights and made arrangements and accommodations for us to go to Houston on the 17th of September. But when we went on Tuesday to try this, I think it was the third chemo that they were going to try, and the third type of chemo concoction they were going to try it. And when she walked in, they took her vitals and took her lab and did blood work and looked at her and said, we can't give you the chemo treatment. There's no way. Your numbers are off the scale. Her potassium was through the roof, and they were shocked that her heart had not stopped beating because of how high her potassium was. So they immediately admitted her to the ICU at Emory. And from Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday, we're still trying to go home, waiting on her numbers to be the kind of numbers where they could release her. Turn to Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday night at 11:40, she breathed her last breath. We had not expected this. And yeah, 2 months ago, God began to prepare me for the possibility. I will tell you that. I told my family that 2 months ago, God started to prepare me for the possibility. And even that, I'm thinking, okay, a possibility, maybe like 5, 10 years from now, maybe 20 years. Never thought that this week would be a week where, for the first time in my life since I was 17 years old, that I can't pick up the phone and call her. Call her name, she doesn't respond. I'm 55 years old, so imagine that for the first time since I was 17, first time in 39 years. Wow, I hadn't done the math. For the first time in 39 years, I can't talk to her. I can't call her. I can't say her name and she respond. And I'll be the first to tell you, I'm hurting. This is one of the hardest, or maybe it's got to be the hardest thing I've ever faced. I have cried all day today. I've cried every day for the last 4 days throughout the day. And my son and I were talking about how it comes in waves. Those of you who've gone through grief, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've lost a loved one, where you can be fine 1 minute and the next minute, it just hits you. And it's been a rough day. Today was one of the roughest days since she passed away. Because I had to do something today that I didn't want to do. It's not something I wish on anybody, and I understand those that have already done it. Imagine having to write your wife's obituary. Just imagine that. And listen, I had family that I could have asked to do it. I have children that would have been glad to do it, and they're capable and educated and articulate enough to do it. And I would not have had to do it, but I wanted to do it for her. She wanted me to do it. And I was telling my sister, texting her, she's checking on me, and my whole family checks on me. They just want to make sure I'm okay. They know how much I love my wife. And I am hurting. I will not lie to you. And I'm doing everything I can because I don't want to cry on this video. I'm just tired of crying. But I will cry because it's therapeutic. It's good for me. Get it out of my system. I texted my sister, and she said she couldn't imagine what that was like. And I told her it was painfully and tormentously one of the most difficult things I had to do. And the only reason why I'm sharing this video is because if you love somebody and you have taken vows, sometimes I think we take marriage for granted, or we kind of get tired of our spouse, especially if you've been with them for a while, and you get to taking them for granted. You get used to them. And I'm so grateful. I'm really grateful that that was not the case for me and my wife. We were, at 37 years of marriage, we were falling in love, and I shouldn't say falling because I don't believe in falling in love. We were intentionally being purposeful about loving each other, encouraging each other, speaking life into each other, supporting each other, backing each other. And I encourage you, those of you that are out there that are married, don't take your spouse for granted. I encourage those of you that are married to stop putting off for tomorrow what you can do today. Because, folks, it's a cliche, but it's true, and it's a fact. Tomorrow is not promised. I'm glad my wife and I didn't wait till we retired to start traveling, to start enjoying life. And as soon as our kids left and we became empty nesters, we just started really focusing on each other, and we started really seeing the rest of this world as something that we've always wanted to do. And instead of waiting until we retired, we just did it. And it was the best decision I ever made because my wife just recently retired, 29 years at Northside Middle School, Houston County Board of Education. And she was really pushing herself. She wanted to make 30 years. That was her goal, her desire. She wanted to make 30 years. But due to her health, her inability to really function the way that she was accustomed to physically in the classroom, she took an early retirement. And then shortly after, she had the 55th birthday, and after retirement and the 55th birthday, she transitioned, she crossed over. And I think in my mind, what if we'd have sat around and waited and put off until she retired to do all of those things that we did over the last 7 years, 5 to 7 years. Even in the midst of this situation, I have so many things to be grateful for. Grateful for the time that God allowed. Grateful for our children. Grateful for our family. And most importantly, if I can be honest with you, grateful for the memories. The devil can touch a lot of stuff. But the one thing the devil cannot take from us is our memories. But if you don't make any memories, you won't have anything to enjoy I was just watching videos of my wife and I having fun, cutting the food, on trips. I've got so many videos and so many clips of things that she and I just recorded for us. Because oftentimes when we traveled, number one, I never believed in posting while I was on a trip or posting while I was out of town or posting while we were on vacation. I never believed in that because I just didn't want people to know that we were not home. So I never posted when we were actually away. So a lot of stuff just stayed on my phone and stayed in my camera. And I've been looking at a lot of that stuff, and man, I'm grateful. Yeah, I'm missing her now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I miss her. Sound of her voice. I miss her witty banter. I miss her encouraging words. I miss her. But I'm enjoying our memories. That's the one thing the devil can't take. And if you don't have any memories, you haven't created any memories, or you got a wife or a husband, I just want to lovingly encourage you. I'm not scolding you. I'm not fussing at you. I'm just lovingly encouraging you. Husbands, love your wives. Don't look at another woman. Don't consider another woman. Don't think the grass is greener on the other side. And whatever your wife may be lacking, give her grace. Don't compare her to other women. Love her right where she is, as she is. Give her grace. And wives, if you have a husband, and he may not be all that you want him to be, he may not even be all that he used to be. But I want to tell you, wives, concerning your husbands, give him grace and love him. Love him with everything you have. Because when it's all said and done, that's what we will remember, or that's what we won't be able to remember because we did not create the memories. Stop the fussing and fighting. Stop the arguing and going back and forth, and stop the pettiness. Marriage requires the highest level of maturity if you're going to have a successful relationship with your spouse. The maturity level of marriage for it to be successful is almost insane. And I'm so proud. I can think back when my wife and I first got married in our younger years, we would argue about anything. Silly stuff, stupid stuff. But after 10 years and 20 years and 30 years and almost 40 years, we realize arguing is a waste of time if you're trying to argue with somebody you love. You know why it's a waste of time? Because after you argue with them, you still gonna love them. You still gotta love them. You still gotta go forward. You still gotta move beyond the issue. So why allow the enemy to create negative memories of you fussing and bickering and angry and fighting? And listen, I'm not naive. Every marriage is going to have its what I call intense moments of fellowship. I promise you. But when you learn how to navigate them, I'm telling you, when you learn how to navigate those intense moments of fellowship, they become moments instead of becoming monuments. They become moments instead of becoming mountains. They become moments that you move beyond so that your marriage is intact and your relationship continues to flourish. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to share. Just laying here, thinking, reminiscing. And I thought I'd share where I am with you. Still believing, still trusting, still got faith. Still got faith. How far does my faith go? My faith goes beyond the obituary. Oh, Jesus, I love you. That's how far my faith goes. Because I know my God can do anything. And I will say like the Hebrew brothers, I know my God can. But even if he doesn't, I'm still going to love him. I hope you can say the same with whatever you're going through. Because God is with you. God is near you. He will never forsake you. Just got to trust him. I love you. Thank you for your prayers. Those of you that have prayed, those of you that are reaching out, and those of you that have been calling and texting and I have not responded, please don't take it personal. I'm kind of in a weird space and a weird place right now. And I don't know how to really explain it other than to just tell you I'm just in a weird, strange place. But I love you. And I'm praying for you for whatever you're going through, as you pray for me for what I and my family are going through. Some way, somehow, we're going to make it. I love you. Be encouraged.